Welcome back, this is Mike, and today we're going to make a blog using WebWave. We're going to prepare an article template, we're going to add categories, and we'll display our articles in the article lists. Finally, we're going to adjust our templates and the website for different RWD modes. I'll start by answering the question, why should you have a blog on your website? Having a blog is important from an SEO point of view. Google likes pages to be active with new content once every fortnight. Since it would be difficult for us to keep adding subpages such as contact, gallery, etc., it is a good idea to use a blog for this purpose, in which we can cover topics related to our industry. So I'm gonna open a website that's already prepared where we'll create a blog for ourselves. For this, I'm going to go to our shared elements. Now I'm going to right click on our menu and select the option which will allow us to set content and menu order. I'm gonna add a button, and we can either do it by clicking here or here. And linked to will create a button that's linked to our existing subpage, and to a new page will create a new subpage. So I'm going to create a blog and place it right here. A little bit to the left. I'm gonna close this window, and now it's there. Now it appeared. Now that's our new button. Now we're going to create our first article template. As the name suggests, it's a set of already adjusted elements that you're gonna use as a template for your future articles. To do this, go to Articles and Blog, click on Article Layouts, and here should be a list of all of our article templates. However, we don't have any yet, so we're gonna create a new one. And this is your first article template. We've got 4 different elements. So the first one's going to be image, the other one's going to be the date, header, and then article content. What's worth mentioning is that you can't remove any of them, you can only hide them. So if you don't want the date to be displayed, you just gotta click here in the layers panel, that eyelet icon, and it's going to show or hide your date. Now I can already see that the image is a little bit on top of our menu, so I can use this icon to drag this element and all the elements below it. So now it's where we want it to be, and you can also do the same with the other elements. But for now I'm just going to change our article header formatting, so I'm going to bold it and change its size to 60, let's say. I'm going to center it, and then I'm going to align our date to the right. Now we can also change the size of our header image, so it's a little bit smaller. This is going to be our first article header, and we're going to create another one a little bit later, and we're not going to fill everything up with content yet. I also noticed that the image goes on top of our menu, and if ever that happens to you, just have to move Shared Elements group to the top in Layers panel. So as I said, I'm not going to fill everything up with the content because we're gonna do it later. But now I'm going to add headers, which are very important. So I'm going to add our first header, which is gonna be a header 2, because header 1 is reserved for the title, and then the next header in the hierarchy is header 2. Then the next one would be header 3, which is kind of like a subheader for header 2. And what's important, for the text to become a header, you have to select it from this list. So then you select it and just select the correct header from the list. Now we could also add another header, but I'm gonna leave it as it is now. Headers are very important because not only they create a hierarchy that is readable by users, but are also important for the search engine, which has an impact on positioning. I'm just gonna quickly rename our template to template first. And now we can finally create our first article using our article layout. I'm gonna click that little plus icon, I'm gonna select our newly created template, And here it is, our new article that already has the element our template has. And I'm going to edit this image. I'm going to choose our preloaded image. And as you can see, it's cropped a little bit weird, so I'm gonna go to settings panel and frame it, so the text is a little bit more visible. Cool. Now I'm going to change our header to design grid 101. We can also change our header to my header 1. So here we got two options. We can either create or write our content from scratch, or we can paste the content from somewhere else. And hopefully that's going to be a content that we prepared ourselves, because I advise you against copying content from other websites to avoid so-called duplicates on the web, or copyright copying or copyright infringement. That not only makes our SEO worse, but can put you into some trouble. So let's not do that. And for our example, I'm just gonna copy some of the content from our WebWave's blog. So if you're copying your content from somewhere else, you can click this icon to remove or formatting from it. Now you can select your headers and see if they are actual headers. So I'm gonna select them and then see if they are formatted as headers in the list. I'm going to create another article using our template first. We can again adjust our elements. I'm gonna adjust our image first, edit the image, gonna select this one, change the header to design thinking, and now I'm going to copy the content from one of our WebWave blogs. And I'm going to create yet another one. I'm gonna change the image to this one. Gonna change the article header, website map. I'm gonna copy paste our text, remove formatting, check our headers. I'm gonna frame our header image because it's in a little bit different position I want it to be in, and yeah, it's very useful because you can then crop the image however you want. And now we're going to create a final article for this template. I'm gonna select our template. I'm gonna change our header to start a blog. I'm gonna copy paste our text, remove formatting, and here it is. I'm going to also choose other image for this article, the image that we already prepared. Our sloth. Gonna move it to the top so we know that Mr. Sloth is there, but no one else will know. So we're gonna count it as a little Easter egg. But yeah, going back to it, we can also change a thumbnail for the article. So if you go to the article tab in the settings panel, then you go to thumbnail, and here you can change Mr. Sloth for something else. Sometimes when adding content to our website, we want to add something other than just text. And here in this panel, you can, for example, add an image. So just click here, and then you can select one of your preloaded images or any other image from image bank, icon bank, etc. So now if you double click on the image, it's going to open up its settings, and here you can adjust its width, height, and I'm going to change its width to 100%, so it's going to span across the entire website. And here it is. Sometimes you might get some things wrong, like the text that goes through the menu. And we can fix it by going back to our template and making just a few tweaks. We're gonna go to our template first, edit, and now in the layers panel, we're gonna move that shared elements group to the top, and we can do the same for our footer. So usually these groups are our main mischiefs, so we just have to move them to the top, and then everything else should be fine. Everything else should be below our two main groups. Okay, so now we're gonna add two icons. So we're gonna add an Instagram icon. We're gonna make it dark blue. Okay, select, and it's now added. I'm just gonna place it in the right place. Why is it not moving? Okay, I think I know why. It's because I added it to a footer by mistake, so I have to add it again. Yeah, it might be a common mistake, so just you have to be careful to not add your image to the footer, because then you can't move it outside of the footer. But if you move it, but if you place it in the blank space, then you can move it anywhere you want. Now I'm going to add another icon for Facebook. And now we want these icons to be displayed on top of every header image. And for this, we can move our icon into shared elements group. This will cause our icons to be displayed for all subpages that use our shared elements group. So now we can go to our articles and see if our new elements are being displayed. So let's go to, say, this one. And as you can see, all the changes have been applied. We don't have that text that goes on top of our menu, as well as we've got our elements there. Okay, so now I'm going to create another article template. And for this, we're gonna go to article layouts, select new template. And again, we got the same situation, but I'm going to change the name from the start. It's going to be an article template with a lightbox. Okay. Now let's go back to moving our elements around. Gonna make this image much smaller and placed right at the left edge. Gonna move that header as well. Move the paragraph down a bit. And now we can see that green line here, and this green line indicates that these two items are bound between themselves, and we're gonna edit that relation. For now, we're gonna delete it here, and now we've got a set of elements that aren't bound between themselves. They haven't got any relation, but later on we're gonna link them. Now we're going to add an image grid, and the fact that we removed binds between all our objects will make it easier to position all of them on our website, and will allow us to link them back again after we add and modify all the elements. Now I'm gonna make a few adjustments to our image grid. So I'm gonna change images in a row to 3, and I'm going to remove all unnecessary pictures that are here, so I'm gonna leave only 3. I think I'm gonna remove the ones that are vertical, and I'm gonna leave only the ones in landscape mode. I'm gonna leave these 3, and here it is. I'm going to make this header a little bit smaller, let's say 60. Gonna move it down a bit. And now we can create a new article using our new template. So let's select this template, let's create our new article, and now we can edit our content. But what if the content we want to add will be longer than the sample one? It's going to overlap, and it's going to be on top of our image grid. To fix this, we need to add links between all our elements, and then they're going to push each other off, keeping the space between them so they're not overlapping. We can change it by editing our article template. But for now, I'm going to remove a newly created article. I'm gonna go back to our template, and here I'm going to add a link between our elements. First, I just move this a little bit down, and we can edit binds by clicking this button. Now, if you click on that plus button, it's going to link these elements. It's going to create a link between them. Now, if we copy paste our text, the elements will push each other off, and everything should be fine now. So the structure is preserved. We gotta remember that we have to add links between our elements hierarchically. So the title to the image, image to the content, etc. For now, I'm going to remove some of the content, and I'm going to group our image and text header together. Now I'm gonna change its name to top section, and now you can create a link between our header section and all the items below. Now if we add additional text to our header, we can see that all the elements are being pushed off and the distance is maintained. Just move our footer up. Cool. Now, before I'll create a new article using our newly created template, I'm going to show you categories. So here we can add a new category for the articles we get on our website. So the first of our categories is going to be building websites, the other one marketing, and miscellaneous. Now we can close this window, and before adding a new article, I'm just gonna remove that extra text in the header, and now we're gonna create a new article. Here you can see our extra template, and we are being asked what category our template will be in. So I'm going to select marketing and miscellaneous, and here in the settings panel in article tab you can choose the category. So if you make a mistake, you can fix it here, but I'm going to leave it as it is, and let's start editing our header. Gonna change it to best SEO tools. I'm going to paste some text that I already prepared beforehand, and it's from our blog, so it's okay for me to use it. And as you can already see, our image grid has been pushed to the bottom, so our text is not overlapping anymore. I'm just going to space our paragraphs well, and here we've got our image grid. We're gonna change our placeholder images for the ones I already prepared. And as you can see, you can also keep your files in the folders, so it makes it easier to manage all of our files. I'm just gonna remove our placeholder images, and it's done. So these are going to be images for our article. Now I'm just gonna quickly change our headers to some SEO tools. So let's say Google Trends, Uber Suggest, and SEMrush. Now let's change the image that we've got on top, and we can do that from our settings panel. So here, and I'm gonna select this picture. Cool. Now we're gonna create yet another article, and I'm going to show you the example of anchoring. So first, I'm going to change our thumbnail. This one. Going to change our header to, I don't know, best 10 best in search engines. Yeah, should be 10 best search engines, but I'm gonna leave it as it is, and I'm gonna paste our text. I'm going to remove this image, and now I'm going to adjust our headers slightly so they fit a little bit better to our title. It's about search engines, so the first one's going to be Google, Second one, let's say DuckDuckGo and Quant. Now I'm going to replace our placeholder images. I got some images prepared here, so I'm going to remove the old ones. And here it is, our image grid has been automatically refreshed. Now I'm going to show you how to anchor the elements. So first, I'll remove all formatting from our article. And what can you use our anchor for? One of the most common uses for it might be table of contents. So first you have to select one of the headers, and then you gotta link it to your table of contents that you're gonna place on top. And the other use might be you've got something very interesting in text that you'd like to highlight. So let's say our third header is the most interesting one, and we'd like to create a link for easy access to it. You're gonna click this flag icon, and then you're gonna type in the name of it, so Quant, and now this little flag appeared. If you click on the empty space, it's going to be hidden, and of course it's not going to be visible on published version of your website. So now we're going to create ourselves a little bit of space here, and we're going to create a simple table of contents. So Google, DuckDuckGo, I'm going to move this panel a bit. Quant, and say Bing. Okay, I'm gonna change its formatting a bit, make it look a little bit nicer. And now to add an anchor, you gotta just simply select an element you'd like to add your anchor to. You gotta click link, and then you gotta link it to go to an anchor in the text. And here's our Quant. So if we add it, it should be working now. So let's go to our website preview and let's see if it works on preview. As you can see, clicking on the table of contents element causes our website to be scrolled right to the element it's been anchored to. So in this case, Quant. Cool. Now we've got this covered. Let's create a new article for the second template and for the marketing and miscellaneous category. So again, we're going to change our header first. So it's going to be website loading speed. Now we're going to add our image. So let's go here, more actions, edit the image. This time we're going to add something from our image bank, in case you forgot that we got such. And yeah, remember that you can use any of the images from our image bank, and they are all copyright free, so you won't get in any trouble for using them. It's so useful, especially when you start in a website that you haven't got any content for. So you can just go to image bank and select any picture you want, and yeah, it's cool. It's free to use. Use it. So now we've just pasted our text and we got our text element out of the way. Now it's time to edit our image grid. So I'm going to add our preloaded images first. And now I'm gonna remove these ones. I'm gonna close this window, and the image grid has been refreshed automatically. And now I'm going to create a little bit of space for our next element. That's gonna be a video. So if you'd like to post a video to your article, just gotta click this icon. And now you can either paste embed code here, or you can paste YouTube video URL. And I got such video already prepared, so I'm going to paste our link here. Using this feature will allow you to showcase your videos easily. You can also change their width and height. I'm gonna leave it as it is, and here we got it. one of our videos explaining how you can quickly build a blog using WebWave. And talking about other videos, I highly recommend visiting our YouTube channel, because then you can find even more tips and tricks on how to build a website you want. Now, let's say that you'd like to change an article template for a currently existing article. I'm just gonna go to it, then in the settings panel, an article tab, you're gonna click article layout and select the layout you want from the list. And as you can see, our article has been automatically adjusted to the template you selected. So now talking about adjusting our elements, I'm going to change the images for our image grid. I'm gonna remove the placeholder images and replace them with some of our preloaded images. Cool. So now I'm going to show you how you can easily manage all your articles. You're gonna go to our article list that can be accessed here, and now you can open up article settings by clicking on its bar. Here you can, for example, delete an article, you can change the category it belongs to, you can change the thumbnail, you can also change its address. I'm going to assign our articles to our previously created categories, because we've got quite a lot of articles linked to marketing and miscellaneous, but we don't have any article that's going to be within building websites category. So I'm going to quickly change it, and now it's all done. Now we can close this window. And what did we need our categories for? They will allow us to set the list to show a specific category. This can be used in several ways. I'll show you two examples. So the first one is going to be adding a blog feed or news feed element. You can add it here, and by utilizing categories, you can easily select which articles will be showcased. And now I'm going to start with some basic formatting. So first I'm going to change the number of articles to 3. Then we get more articles, and I'm also going to change the articles in the row number to 3, so it's going to place them horizontally. I'm also going to increase our horizontal spacing. We could also change the number of words, also the position of our thumbnail, and in fact we're going to make a few adjustments here. So we're going to position our thumbnail on top of the text, and as you can see, our text is a little bit lengthy. And it shouldn't look this way because it looks a little bit messy, and we can easily change it by changing the number of words in the article summary. So we can adjust this number right here. I'm gonna change the value to 15, and now it looks much better. Here we can disable the dots that appear at the end of our article, but I'm going to leave them. We get our pagination settings, and in case you don't want the article date to be displayed, you can click this button and it will hide our date. Here you can change the visibility of future articles. So if you get any articles that have a future date, so they're going to be published soon, you can select this option, and that's gonna display them before they actually appear on a page, and you can see and edit them. Talking about editing, as you probably already noticed, our blogs feed or news feed is highly customizable. It means that you can practically edit any of its elements. To do this, you're just gonna select our news feed, and then in the settings panel, you get a list of all its elements you can edit. So, content, image, date, read more, pagination, etc. So I'm going to select image, and I'm going to adjust our image a little bit. I'm going to make it a little bit wider and taller. And now, as we changed the size of our news feed or blogs feed, we're gonna grab it and move it to the middle. We're gonna center it properly using our guidelines. Now we can come back to our editing. So we're gonna edit headings, we're gonna center them. We can also change the spacing between our headers and the elements that are on top and at the bottom of them. We're gonna simply enter the values here, and now it looks much better. And we're gonna edit our read more element. We're gonna center it, and we're gonna change its color to slightly darker shade of blue. Okay, so now we adjusted our blocks feed element so it looks a little bit better. I'm gonna explain you what we needed these categories for. For example, let's say that you got about 30 articles from one category and you'd like to display it on one of your subpage. For this, you gotta go to Settings panel, click on this list and select Selected Categories. Then by pressing this icon, you can select the categories you want to be shown. So yeah, if we click, for example, default, it's going to show us some placeholder articles. But if you remember well, we already got our own articles, and therefore we're going to create a block feed that will include our own categories. So now I'm just gonna quickly copy our newsfeed and let's begin. We can create a new subpage by going to our navigation bar and either clicking this icon, but we're going to create a new subpage using shared elements group. So once you're here, you're just gonna click on our menu and click set content and menu order. Now we can add a button. I'm gonna type in the name of it, add it. I'm gonna add a next one, which is gonna be website building. And now I'm going to move these buttons to the bottom, but I'm going to place it under blog menu. I'm gonna move it slightly to the right for it to be on the blog list. And now if we go to our menu, our additional subpages will be shown there. But I don't really like the look of it, and we're gonna change the background. That's gonna fix the appearance of our menu. And now we've got it all sorted. Let's go to one of our subpages, which is website building. I'm going to paste our newsfeed. And now if we want to display our category, we gotta go to Settings panel, Block Feed Settings, click on Selected Categories and Desired Category. This will load all the articles into our newsfeed. Now we're gonna go to the other subpage, and while our newsfeed is still in our clipboard, I'm going to paste it here. And now, analogically to the previous example, I'm going to change the category of articles that are being displayed in our newsfeed. Now, as you can see, we get two different subpages with two different block feeds that consist of two different article categories. Let's go back to our blog subpage, as now I'm going to show you how we can make this newsfeed or blog feed a little bit more interesting with additional interactions. So let's get started. First I'm going to select our newsfeed and then copy and paste it at the same place. And now one of them is going to show building websites category, and the next one I just pasted will show marketing and miscellaneous category. Now I'm just going to move them a bit so they won't get mixed up, and I'm going to rename them, which will help in identifying them properly. So the next one will be marketing and miscellaneous, and the last one is our building websites newsfeed. Now I'm going to move them to exactly the same position, because they're going to appear after clicking on a corresponding button that we'll add soon. I'm going to move them down a bit so we get a little bit of space for our buttons. I'm going to add a button. I'm gonna change its colors. So I'm gonna go for dark blue, which will get a little bit lighter when we hover our cursor over it. Cool, now you can see the hover animation works, and now we can copy paste our button 2 times, and I'm going to space them out properly. And now I'm going to edit the text. So the first one is going to show all categories, the second one only marketing, and the last one, when clicked on, is going to show us website building related articles. Okay, now I'm just going to move them a bit in the layers panel. Okay, now we can start working on our interactions. We're gonna begin by hiding 2 of our block feeds, as they won't be visible by default, and they can be only visible after clicking on a correlated button. So if you click on marketing, it's going to show marketing, etc. So let's start editing them. I'm gonna click on a first button, then go to our settings panel, click action link, show or hide objects. Show objects, we're gonna select all, then add another interaction which is going to hide 2 other elements. So marketing and website building. And that's it for this button. Now time for marketing, and the same. Show or hide objects, show elements, marketing. Okay. Hide elements. It's going to hide all and website building. And that's it. And it's done for the last button. And analogically, show or hide objects, show elements, website building, hide elements, and it's going to hide all and marketing. And we're nearly finished. The last thing we gotta remember is our layers panel, where we gotta keep an eye on our shared elements group, because we need to move it to the top later. If we won't do it, our elements will go on top of our menu. I'm gonna move our footer up and move our shared elements group to the top, as I said before. And now we should be ready to see our preview. So let's click on our preview, and the first button is going to show us all category. Marketing is going to show only marketing materials, website building, all articles related to website building. We got 4 articles, so we got 2 pages. Here we don't have more than 3 articles, so we don't have pagination on. Let's go back to our editor, as everything works as intended, and I'm going to show you the last thing for today, which is going to be adjusting our website for different RWD modes. We can do that either manually or automatically, and I'm going to show you both of the options. So first, let's go to our article layouts. Let's edit our first template for different RWD modes. Click edit, and now here you get these icons. We're gonna click on tablet view, and now we can start adjusting our image so it fits nicely to the tablet screens. I'm gonna move our social media icons. I'm gonna do the same thing for the article header. And the same for text. So we can either do that, or we can just click on a header, and then we can select width 100%. So I'm just gonna resize that date, and here in position and size menu you got that width 100% option. You gotta turn it on, and now the element will be displayed on 100% width of the display it's been viewed on. Now I'm going to space our elements nicely, and it's done. Now if we go to our desktop version, you can see that nothing changed here. So you have to know that adjusting RWD modes won't cause any issues to the desktop version, so don't worry, you're not going to destroy anything. Now I'm going to select 100% width for all the elements here. I'm going to move them a bit, and now we got our next mode done. Now let's go to we're gonna make this header a little bit smaller. Select 100% width here as well. As you can see, it works really well. I'm just gonna move this footer a little bit closer to the top, and we could also resize our icons, but I'm just gonna leave it as it is. And let's say we've done adjusting our RWD modes for this template. So now if we go to an article that uses this template, we can see that it fits our template nicely and our article is ready for publishing. I think it looks well, and yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? As you could see, adjusting your website to different RWD modes took us, I don't know, about 3 minutes or something. So as you can see, it's very easy. Now let's edit our second article template, but this time we're going to use a very handy tool, which is automatic RWD setup. So it will allow us to set up all these elements automatically with just one click. You have to click this option to open up a menu, and we go into exclude shared elements because that might make some unnecessary changes. And we're going to select all the screens, so all different RWD modes. Now click start, and it's done. So it was as easy as that. As you can see, all the spacing is a little bit off, but you can easily fix it manually. Here we can see that we need to move our shared elements group to the top, as some of the elements went on top of our menu, but now when we scroll, it's all good. Let's go to different mode. And now this version looks also pretty good. What I see is that our image grid changed to only one image in a row. We can change the spacing, so they spaced a little bit differently, but I think I'm going to leave it as it is because I think it looks good as it is. Here I can see the image grid has been changed as well to one image per row. We're gonna make our header a little bit smaller so it is visible. It doesn't take all screen. I'm just gonna delete a part of our article. I'm gonna resize it, tweak it a bit, and I think it looks good now. Cool. This one looks good, and this one as well. Cool. Now you could see that you can adjust your article templates for different RWD modes, and we're going to do the same for different subpages. So we're gonna start with this one. Right from the start we can see that our newsfeed is a little bit too large, so I'm going to use set up the elements automatically option once again to save us some time, and let's see how it worked. So now we can see that our newsfeed has been reduced only to our Mr. Sloth, and we can change that in the settings. However, we're just going to change the size of the image and just move it around, because to be honest it looks good as it is. The same for this mode. And for tablet, our blog feed has 2 article columns. I'm gonna move shared elements group to the top because the elements were going through the menu, but now it should be fine. And the desktop mode remains unchanged. So as you can see, it all works. But if you need to change some other settings, there's plenty of them in the settings panel. Now we're going to edit the other subpage, and we're going to do exactly the same. So I'm going to open up marketing and set up the elements automatically. Remember to exclude shared elements and select all the RWD modes. As you can see, there's not much to be changed. Also, here you got the pagination, which shows that there might be other content available on other page. So if you got, let's say, 5 articles, you can switch between them clicking on pagination. I'm just gonna move this footer a little bit up because for some reason it keeps moving down, but it's okay because we can always tweak it manually. and it's going to look better. You have to remember about that shared elements group because it might get a bit tricky as well. Let's switch between other modes and check them once again. Let's move this footer a little bit closer to the top. The same for this picture. Gonna move a little bit up. And I think it's good. I think it's good enough. And I think it's time to finally publish our website and to see what we created today. Now to open our website, we can click on this link. I'm just going to quickly close these pop-ups. And we're going to start by visiting our blog. As you can see, our menu works. It gets expanded on hover, but I'm going to click blog because we're gonna see our categories. All, marketing, website building, marketing, all, marketing, website building. It all works. Now we're gonna visit one of these. Gonna go for marketing, which is going to show only marketing, and website building is going to show only articles related to building websites. And finally, we can make a quick check of our RWD modes. So I'm just going to press Ctrl-Shift-C and it's going to open up our RWD inspector. I mean Google's inspector if you view in your website in Google Chrome. And by drag and drop in these margins, you can resize your virtual screen and see how your website behaves for different RWD modes. And I'm afraid that's everything for today. And as you could see, setting up a blog in WebWave is very simple, and its useful features help you to build it in less than 1 hour. As you could see, you can organize your articles, organize your templates, you can organize your subpages, and then adjust everything to different RWD modes, which could be pain in other website builders out there. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you found something useful today, and I hope to see your blog. So right after you finish it, please leave a link in the comments below so we can all see it. And as always, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and make sure to watch the next video. Thank you for today and see you soon. Bye!